Is Canada properly equipped to welcome 500,000 new immigrants per year?
At this point, I would say no. I'm Canadian, born, raised. I'm on disability, and I'm having a hard time getting housing. I'm a Canadian that's born and living here. So to bring immigrants in and then start entering into our housing system, I think a born and raised Canadian should have first option. And sometimes that's not the issue. That's not the way it works.
I think more people would help build Canada, but they don't need to all be in the city. Canada's a big place. We could spread the wealth.
I say no. I think that we do need to have, we're having a big shortage in employment as well. We got to consider that, bringing over some skilled labor and offer some opportunities. And I think that's fair. I work with a lot of immigrant groups in the city that I live, but at a pace that's going to be at a pace that's going to work for us. That. We're not further dividing the people who are not receiving services, and we don't have housing. We don't have a solution for that yet. People are just starting to do new builds, and it's not enough yet. So that would be my concern.
Okay.
So I also agree. We need to have a better plan that is equal, that it doesn't put further Canadians behind. We have a housing shortage for students and seniors across this country, and until we're about 10 years from catching up to where we need to be in housing, I would believe.
I think it's a challenge. I wouldn't say we're ill-equipped, but it's going to be a challenge to accommodate in terms of housing and medical care and the whole gamut. So.
To be honest, I don't know, but I'm ready to welcome 500,000 new immigrants. I think it's going to be a challenge for housing and lots of other reasons, but it certainly will make us a more interesting, vibrant country.
I wouldn't be able to say 100%, but honestly, through the years when I was back home, because I'm from Honduras, I've been constantly Canadian universities will come over and try to bring people over. Like UNB came to my school 5 times a year. So I feel like there is a need for work and there is a need for people. So I definitely would think that they'd be able to handle it. Yeah.
I think I'm 50-50 on that. I'm not up to date with all that information. However, in my opinion, I do believe that in some way we should be able to support these people who are fleeing these war-torn countries or countries that have, that need support economically or are just not the safest place to live in generally. And I think that we as a country and we as a government and we as people, as Canadians, we need to step up and support them in whatever ways we can. And whether that means we give them economic support or we just kind of help them get jobs or we even just give them a place to live, right? I do think that whatever the number is, I think we should be able to support them in whatever ways they need.
I would say no. Looking at the housing situation that's going on now, people who have lived here their whole lives can't even afford to live here. So it would make no sense to bring a bunch of people here and have them struggle.
And your thoughts?
We need to take care of our homeless problem before we can welcome other people into the country. I think so.
Well, we have plenty of land, that's for sure. But infrastructure, obviously. We see all the people can't find a place to live, and it's super expensive, and health care, and so I would say no. No, we're not in our infrastructure.
My grandfather came over here on a boat from Poland 2 years before the Second World War, got off at Pier 21 in Halifax. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for immigration, like many of us and most of us. It's not a question of whether or not Canada is an immigration-friendly country. We are, obviously. Economically, we die without it. We all know that. But where do you put people when we have so many people who can't afford to live right now, who are spending hours waiting in hospitals, no room in schools? It's just not the right time to be pumping the numbers up to 500,000 a year and increasing them the way we have since COVID.
Yeah, there's a lot of jobs that the privileged Canadians don't feel like doing, and we need people to work. Housing appears to be an issue, but it'll come along.
Tough word to use there. I think we don't have a choice in the way that CPP works. We need to fill CPP. There are fewer working Canadians. We have an aging population. We need immigration to build our society and continue to grow as a nation. And we should welcome it with warm arms. It's how this country was built, and immigrants are a part of our stability as a country.
Our country has been built by people coming to our country. And I mean, this can go way, way back to various indigenous movements prior to white contact and these sorts of things. But though those are different issues, but it's been built by a sort of phantasmagoria of different cultures and different experiences. And I mean, recently we saw a huge influx of people from Syria, and I mean, these are very hardworking people. These are people that are not dissimilar from us at all. And I think that globally, similarities are becoming less, or dissimilarities are becoming less and less, and similarities are becoming greater and greater. So I don't perceive that there being issues of conflict or any of that sort of thing. I think that we need more people. We need less taxes.